Diego, hook me up. What's happening, everybody? My name is Rob, aka Skinny Black. I'm laughing because of the screen, all the decorations on the screen that the engineer Dio put up. It's kind of funny. Didn't expect that when we logged on, but hey, my man was looking out for us for the holiday cheer, Christmas, Kwanzaa, all that good stuff. My name is Rob, aka Skinny Black, and to my right,
JT, period of silent. Hi, Mom. On the road again.
on the road again. Yes, my man is out. He's out and about in the car. Actually, but before we get started, before we do anything, like we always do about this time, on the road, on the fly, sucker shit.
Well, I was thinking
Uh-oh.
that all of these circuit shits are just observations. That's how they start, right? And then you build out. So I had a few observations that I picked up last few days. Like, for example, I know several women that wear wigs, right? And a couple of women I seen would like have the wig on with a baseball cap. And I was like, do they realize they got a hat on top of a hat? Another observation. I was on the freeway coming to work. And now some people don't know LA freeways, but everybody knows LA traffic, right?
Yes.
So I had this thing in my head. The first observation is I have issues, which is probably not that big of an observation because I don't take the same way to work more than two times a week, right? Because in my mind, I'm being followed. Like I'm an FBI secret agent or some CIA, as if somebody give a damn about me going to my job. But I switch it up. So I took this particular route. And luckily, I chose this route because there's a section where the freeways come together and one comes down from the top and I was going straight and you merge, right? And that's where I get off and that's where the bottleneck happens. But as I was coming, man, there was an accident, right? And there was no cars and I just merged over easy. It usually takes 15, 20 minutes to get through this little 2, 3 minute deal, right? Or longer. Merged right in. And do you know what I realized in this moment?
What's that?
Nobody in LA traffic has any empathy because I felt nothing but joy. And there was other people that were stuck on top of a ramp going one at a time with cops and firefighters up there. And I was like, tough break, nigga. There's always FUBU. And I kept my ass going to work, got to work early, and was happy. So for your hat on the hat wearers and your no sympathy on the 710 freeway in LA, niggas, you on some sucker shit.
Oh man, once again, a classic. A classic. Good job, brother. And you're right. There was no sympathy because if you got a chance to not be to be in a position to where you save 20 minutes, somebody else had to deal with some traffic and you didn't, and it opened you up. Come on, man. That's just LA traffic, baby. That's the luck of the draw.
Oh, and before you get going, before you go on, one other observation that I had, it slipped my mind that like on the empathy tip, I don't really have a lot of empathy if you homeless and overweight.
Wait
Just
a
let
minute,
that
I
sit.
didn't expect that one.
No, because if you homeless and overweight, you eating good.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I'm like, how
I see
bad
what
is
you're
it?
doing.
I'm like, how bad is it? Or I'm like, you ain't walking your cart enough.
Well, maybe they
You need
posted up at a good restaurant.
you need 15 to 20,000 cart miles steps.
Because you can't be fat and
You know,
homeless.
but you need to have the calves need to be big and solid grip strength. All right, go ahead, brother.
Okay, can't be fat and homeless. Got it. So actually, um, the inspiration, you in the car, and your daughter's in the car. She can't hear this. She probably in her own world right now. So, but if she ever did, take out the earphones and hear this, she might be kind of cool to hear this conversation. But regardless, man, last week, your daughter's home from college, her first semester of college, which is pretty dope. And I just remember our conversation that day when you were telling me about you all the stuff you was gonna pick up on the way home, and just your reflections about the conversations you had with her. And man, I could hear just the smile. I could hear the beaming energy, the proud energy coming from your voice through the phone. And I was like, wow, this dude is a girl dad personified right now. And who knew when we met 30 something, 32 years ago, and from that dude to this dude, that this will be possible. so, so in honor of you, my friend, and we got a couple other dudes that may hop on tonight. That we the this the the conversation tonight is straight up about girl dads. Now we've had our real conversation about what it is to be a black father, what it is to pour into our sons, and prepare them to be solid black men. But this is the first time we're having a conversation about what it means to be a black father of a young girl, of a girl, that you are playing a role in her pathway, her journey to be a woman. And so, this is a celebration not just of our children, but of our journey as fathers and dads of girls. So, with that being said, so what's been your journey like pouring into your daughter to be a solid black woman? So, in the beginning, when you held her for the first time, at some point in time between then and this thought, like, man, what's my role in her being a dope woman? How's that journey been for you?
So let's start this way. Um, let's start with the fact that I have a son and a daughter. They are 10 years apart. Okay, so I was 10 years into being a parent when I had my daughter.
You got some practice time, man.
So I got some blocking and tackling in, ahead of time.
Right.
Second thing you asked about holding her for the first time. Let's also say, let's make this clear that my daughter was a preemie. So
That's right.
holding her was delayed.
That's right.
So even though I waited a 10-year gap, I still had to wait a little while longer.
Yep.
Now, as a foundation, there's a old Chris Rock, the joke that he said the number one job of dad is keep his daughter off the pole.
Absolutely.
And it's a joke. It's a joke. But what he's really talking about is out of harm's way and the big life decisions that can hurt your future and hurt your chances. We're gonna all make mistakes. We're gonna all do things, but you don't want the big mistake. You know that'll land you behind the 8 ball.
Right.
So knowing what I knew as a parent, that's how I started out as a goal. Now the actual journey and what has happened is another old saying. You know, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And this has been an 18-year journey for us so far, and it's been quite the adventure. But what I know is nothing in the world can get between me and my daughter. He's solid. You know, and we're closer than we've ever been, and I'm grateful for that. You know, so I mean, I know we'll talk more, you know, about how we got to this point, but in the beginning, I was strictly on, like, let's call it Chris Rock time.
Yeah, gotcha.
because I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
And as things began to reveal themselves and uncover, it required much more from me that I even knew that I had. So I had to develop and get a whole new set of tools to put in the toolbox.
Yep.
To make this one fly. Yeah.
Yeah, dope. Thank you for sharing that, man. I went the different route, you know. So my wife and I came in, you know, with a child each. I had a son, she had a daughter. They just happened to be a month apart. And when we got married, they were 2 years old. So, you know, it's a different thing to come in as a stepdad, right? The second cat, you know, first in the house, but, you know, overall wanting to not step on the toes of her biological. So, you know, that's been a journey, man, over the years. It's been a journey for managing her and her expectations and her needs, and definitely have this, you know, setting, you know, what I may have wanted between us to be for them, you know what I mean? And so that's been the journey, man. So we'll get into more. We'll dig and unpack, you know, more of that journey. I'll just say we'll lead with the punchline. Yo, she and I are dope today. You know, we got a cool relationship. Yes. I think she's cool. I've always thought she was cool and brilliant and you know, and just a go-getter and funny and all that good stuff. And I'm just, you know, elated that, you know, our relationship is what it is today. And, you know, it's holiday time, and I'm happy that she and our son will be home for the holiday.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, but to your point,
that's what it's all about.
The Chris Rock. Hey, the Chris Rock thing is like, hey, how do I do my part to make sure that don't happen?
Yes, but see, I mean, your position is one I'm not familiar with, right? Mm-hmm. That's a tough one because you got a lot of variables.
Oh,
you know, and trying to have respect amongst men,
Yep.
is a variable.
Yep.
But also still trying to maintain your own personal manhood, your own personal standard, and your own personal level while, navigating all of that. That's tough.
Oh man, and those boundaries were tested and tried, and it got tough. It got heated a few times. But here we are. So you're right.
Because I know, being a dad a lot of times is a thankless job, but it's better than being a stepdad most of the time, because that's really thankless.
hey,
you said, hey, you thought you was number two. No, you was. Hey, remember the old Snapple commercial when they made it big, and they knew they wasn't gonna be bigger than Pepsi and Coke. Got Snapple. We just happy being number three. That's what a stepdad is. You really number three.
Or five, somewhere down the line. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you straight Snapple. Kiwi.
That strawberry kiwi was dope though.
Yeah.
They need to bring that back. So share some of your challenges, man, and not just the challenges, but insights that came about because of what it took to to be a dad to a little girl.
So first for me, I had to learn how to be a far better communicator. And there's two sides of the communication. There's the talking, and then there's the listening. And what most people concentrate on in their communication is them talking.
Yeah.
But what I had to learn was how to be a much better listener. And be able to hear what's being said and what's not being said. And in turn, that also made me a much more patient person. Now I can still jump off, but it's rare. It's far more rare now than it's ever been. I mean,
I was about to ask. I mean, it had been hard. That from 13, 14 to 18. She's 18 now. I mean, yeah, bro. How did that listening part play out?
Well, but see, that's the here's the you have to have a vision for how you want it to turn out.
Like that.
And if you have a vision for how you want it to turn out, then you'll probably make different decisions in the moment of things. Because if the decision you're making in the moment could hurt or hinder the long-term outcome, you think differently. Right? You react differently. I never wanted a situation where I was going off so much that communication gets cut, and now you don't know what the real deal is in life, what's really going on.
Right.
And also, I just don't want to be talking just for talking's sake. I want to be heard. And what I noticed is so many parents are talking just for talking's sake, and they hadn't even realized their kid tuned them out 3 years ago.
Real talk.
So those things in mind, it changed me and how I approached it. The second thing is you have to be humble. And you have to be humble in a way to know that you're dealing with a different animal, boy. They not like us. And one of the worst, most damaging statements that I hear mothers say is, "I'm the mother and the father, I'm the mama and the daddy." It's all ego. It's all ego and pain. But what you're doing is you're diminishing the roles.
Yep.
It's a lifelong journey and a full-time job to just be good at one of them. You can't do both,
Right.
not effectively,
Right.
right? And so I realized that I ain't nobody's mama, and I never been a woman in my life. So I had to learn a lot and humble myself to the process. Um, and so, lastly, we have made submission a bad word
Mm.
in our
We gonna-
society and in our community. But I was in full submission, sir, and I still am. And I'm better for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, to tie it back in on saying, it's all part of the long-term plan.
Yeah.
And so many of us are just reacting. You know, just because you don't like how something feels does not mean that it's bad or bad for you. It may be just the right thing at the right time for you. Right? And you know what? I'll add one more thing. With humility, you got to get out the way.
Say more.
You can't lead with ego, bravado. You can't lead with, you know, in my case, hey, this is how I handle my son. Nah, you know, so none of those things were going to be effective. All the pound in the chest in the world, not going to work. No, this I'm saying, this is a different animal, man.
Yeah. Hey,
You
so
know?
you said something I don't want to lose or skip by. You know, that piece about the vision for the relationship. You know, at what point did you think like, hey, this is how I want or I envision us to be down the line? What was that? And when did you make that decision?
Oh man, it grew along over time. But it sparked and it started because, you know, me and her mom, we got divorced, and then her mom moved.
Oh yeah,
They moved to Phoenix. They moved out of state. So communication was paramount.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen people lose their kids.
Yeah.
You know, when you had a distance and then you don't talk, you can lose them.
Yep.
And that was never gonna happen.
Yeah.
You'd have to take my right on. You know, I'd be lucky lefty up in here. Because it ain't going down like that. So you went straight up on wood. You know?
Yeah, man.
So.
Yeah, thank you for that. And the vision would be what? That was the decision, the split. What was the vision that you saw or you desired?
That nothing was gonna come between us, and ultimately, that I would be wise counsel and salt in those situations. But you know, in order to be wise counsel, the first thing you got to be is wise, and the second thing you have to do is counsel, not dictate. It's in the term. But most of us just not paying attention to it.
Right. Yeah, man, that's dope. I you know, I think I know being a stepdad to a daughter, man, it's like a 3-dimensional double dutch, bro. You know, it's like how and when do you jump in or step in to be to establish even the wise counsel piece, right? And in situations to where, you know, as she's growing, as she's maturing, still giving space for biological, right? Not trying to, you know, not trying to overstep. 3-dimensional double dutch, bro. And it was a challenge. It was a challenge that, you know, I think I've plenty of time fell on my face.
It's scary.
Oh man, is it? Yes, sir.
It's all new, and you don't know, and what your natural reaction is not the right reaction.
Hey, for none of it.
You got to go to the opposite world.
For none of it, not just for just she and I, but she, I, him, mom, you know, his family, you know, all that, you know, all those, like you said earlier, all those variables and factors played a role. And so, yeah, that's about the best way I can say it is 3-dimensional double dutch. You know, thinking about, you know, that vision piece, thinking about the wise counsel piece, thinking about all these, and at the same time, guess who's the disciplinarian? Right? So not only it's not just the disciplinarian at home, it's like, oh, I got another option, brother. And this responsibility sucks. And my other option, we don't really have that, so you suck. So yeah, man, 3-dimensional double dutch. Well, that's all I can say.
Yeah, well, anytime, boy or girl, anytime you're providing structure and discipline, and you can be made the bad cop, that's gonna happen.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's on level 30 in this situation.
I have zero interest in being a friend. You know, I'm your damn daddy, and you know we will, like, you know, my son, he's 29 now. You know.
Yeah. Happy birthday to him.
Yeah. So, you know, we still ain't friends. But we cool though. You know, we developed way more of a relationship. You know, and I respect him as a man. He's his own man. You know, but like I'm serious about that. I never thought about it. You know, like that, like, you know, like friends. Kick rocks. You know, I ain't got no 10-year-old buddies. Ain't no 10-year-olds coming out to hang in my house.
Hey, well, you know, Bobby's 30, you know, just a little older than Brendan. So, you know, I get it. And that whole relationship has, you know, made a turn for the dopeness just recently, you know, at 30, you know, almost 31. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get that friend piece. How's that juggling and navigation been with your daughter, the friend piece? Thinking about friend, looking to be wise counsel.
I want to say this because we're going on. I have never felt the kind of love that I get from my daughter. And I've also never felt the kind of admiration.
Love
It's
it.
just it's a genuine love and a genuine admiration that I don't get anywhere else in the world.
Mm.
Not and not even from my son. Now from my son I get respect.
Yeah.
And
Oh, well,
I get
that-
respect from him that I don't think I get anywhere else either. So
And respect, and the type of respect and mixed in with the love that I've observed of him to you, it's pretty dope, actually. Pretty dope. I wanna hit this other piece before we lose it. Because you started on it. So how has being a dad to a girl shifted you and transformed you as a Black?
it has made me so mindful of being a man of my word.
Mm.
It has made me really stop and think about what I do, how I move, how I carry myself around her, what she sees, because she holds me in such esteem and regard that I don't ever want to mess that up. Now, that's not to say that I try to be perfect, because I don't. Because, I let my flag fly. But I'm a better man because she's on this earth.
Yeah.
And the standard that I set myself to, it got more intense and it got more real. And I was like, I realized that I'm the template for what a man is to her.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't do this correctly, brother, you could do some serious damage, man.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, that's solid responsibility to carry. So it forced you in a good way to kind of step your game up.
But no, like I want to be clear about it. It's an honor.
Oh, I didn't say it was negative.
No,
Yes.
that's what I'm saying. No, I'm
Yes.
saying it's an honor.
Yes, I love it.
I wear it as a badge of honor, sir. I'm
Love it.
proud to do this. You know, this is the greatest gift ever.
Yeah, I feel that. My version of that would be, because we've been married 28 years now. Like I said, since the kids were 2. My version of that is, what's the example? What's my example I have to set as a husband, as a father? At the same time, again, she got 2 versions going on, right, in our world. One version is not married. One version, doesn't. She's not seeing that consistent relationship with someone. But again, what's my role? How do I have to, what do I need to do to live up to that? What do I need to do to be that example? Even when she don't recognize it, don't see it, and ain't asked for it.
Well, so much of this happens when they're not looking, because when you're in front of them, now it's go time. But you building yourself up and you becoming better, you're doing so much of that when they're not looking.
Bingo.
And then you also can't get caught up in their emotions.
Saying something right there.
Somebody's job is to be the adult in the room.
Yes, sir.
And so I understand you're upset with me in this moment. But I'm telling you that everything that's going on is right in line with the mission, and we still on point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not backing off of the deal.
Trust the process.
Yeah. And, you know, like I was saying earlier, you know, we had the distance between us,
Mm-hmm.
but man, I closed that gap. You know, now it was rough, man. You know, it was straight up hard having that distance between me and my daughter. She used to come and she used to come and stay. She flew so much as a kid, man. She'd be getting, you know, she'd be 8, 9 years old, getting off the plane, having full-on conversations with the stewardesses. You know, and they'd be like, "Your daughter?" I'm like, "Yeah, she fly all the damn time." She said, "Other kids be all worried. Your daughter just," I said, "Yeah, it's just a normal flight. It's nothing." But every time we would say goodbye, we'd be crying at the airport. You know, white folks looking at me crazy. You know, and then it finally dawned on me what we had and what we really share. And one day we were talking, and I told her, I said, "You know, baby girl, you know, our love and what we have isn't dictated by distance or what city you in or what city dad is in.
Mm-hmm.
Our love has no bounds and no limits." And that was the last day I cried. And so I had to come to that realization, right? And I had to get it in my spirit, so then I could turn around and teach her that. That's what I mean by the work was being done. She wasn't seeing that. I had to do that so I could lead in a different way, so I could father in a different way, parent in a different way, give a different perspective on our relationship. You know, the fact that we both feel this way about each other, that is a beautiful and joyful thing. You are blessed to have somebody that cares about you and to care about somebody this much in this life, because this world is cold. You know, and so that's just an example.
No, that's dope, man. That's dope. When you was talking about that, it made me just think about, you know, my parents split, you know, when I was 2. And, you know, so I know about them plane rides. It just wasn't 45 minutes. Birmingham to LAX, back and forth, was a doozy.
Oh no, you was on a different program, homie. You know.
Hey, wish I had them frequent flyer miles. I'll be like your uncle, be a million miler by now. But yeah, man, that's cool. What are some of the you shared a couple of the insights. What are some of the proud moments, man, the achievements?
Well, see, it's for me, it's not what people think, you know, because also part of the plan is graduating high school, being a good student, going to attending college of your choice. All of that's part of the plan. So I didn't have proud moments then. Those were expected moments. Yeah. I'll give you an example of a proud moment. I told a story about getting at the airport, right? So if you ever have had an unaccompanied minor, as they call it, fly, you know you got to sign off on the kid as a designated person for pickup, right?
Right.
And she like 9, 10 years old, right? They coming and the stewardess, "Sir, need you to show ID, and also we need you to sign, you know, da 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 da." And she looked at that lady, and she was like, "No," she said, "Do you know who this man is?" She said, "That's my daddy, lady." And I said, "Yeah, lady, I'm her daddy." We all start laughing. Now that's a proud moment right there. You know, it's not the things that you think. And like I said earlier, it's that kind of love, you know. I see another proud moment, and I had this is like it led to another realization. You know, she had told me, and it hasn't happened, but she had told me once. She was like, "Dad, I really hope that you find somebody. You get married and you find somebody, Dad." And I was like, "Well, why, Taylor?" She says, "Because when I'm away from you, I know how sad you are, and I don't want you to be sad. I want you to find somebody that you can be happy with."
That's noble, but that's different.
And no, I know, but in her mind, she a kid.
Right. In her mind, yeah.
But in her mind, this is what I came to understand. She cares about me like that.
Wow. Yes.
And you asked, as a black man, how has it changed you? I've never been cared for like that.
Yeah, man.
No disrespect to anybody I've been in a relationship with. It's all love. This is not bitterness or anything like that. This is just, I'm saying I've never been cared for like that. Like, at that young of an age, her mentality was about my happiness, and she was concerned about that.
That's dope.
And didn't want anything in return for it. So, I mean, you know, hopefully that answered some of what you were asking.
It answered all of it. You know what I mean? Because what's important about that is the shift, right? So many times we got a couple in our life where their daughter is about to turn 16, and the focus is this party. You know, where's it gonna be? And you know, this whole, this whole production of this girl turning 16, and the type of money they're talking about spending, and it's like, that's not the goal. Right? And what are you teaching? What are you conveying when you put so much emphasis on that and not the intrinsic stuff that you just brought up? So I think it's important that we display, convey, and show a different lens, a different perspective, a different outlook about what's the vision, what are those highlights, and what are those moments to be celebrated. Because like you said, the graduation, turning 16 that's just a time thing. There's no accomplishment there. There's no achievement there. Graduating high school, graduating college, these are means to an end. Especially when we look at I thought the same way because she has this, she wants to be a veterinarian like our son. So you have to go to college in order to get that type of training, in order to be in that profession. And so the high school and the college graduation are just means to an end, right? So yes, there'll be some celebration of that milestone, but that's not the goal. So I'm glad you brought that up.
It all ties into the conversation about the vision. It all ties into the conversation about long-term goals. If you really are communicating, with your kid, with your young adult that they become, then they're gonna tell you.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to listen, man. You got to be able to hear them. I'll tell you this. My daughter played soccer, and since she was 5-6 years old, and she played AAU. And part of the reason we chose the all-girls high school that we chose for her, because they had the best girls soccer program in the state. They won state 3 out of the last 5 years. She played her freshman year, junior varsity, was gonna get moved up to varsity that summer. She said, "Hey, Dad, I don't want to play soccer no more. I want to run track." I was like, "You never ran track in your life." "I know, but that's what I want to do." And you know what I did?
Pivot.
Bought some spikes.
There it is.
Right.
Yep.
First, we had a long talk about it, and I was like, you know, you got to finish whatever obligations you have to your team and your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
But once you've done that, you're good, and you're good here. And that's how that went down. And so, hey man, if you would have told me it was gonna be that way, you know, I would have been like, "You a new fool."
Hey man, listen. I know you got stuff to do. I know you're in the middle of some things, man. I appreciate you coming on and sharing. Even though you're in the middle of the time with your daughter.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, man. What's your last words? You get the last word. First of all, let me say thanks to Tally and Twine, thanks to the Gathering Spot LA, thanks to Dio, the engineer behind the boards, thanks to the Ghost of Lebo, and thanks to the SBL crew. So you have the last words this evening.
Most recently, I did a conversation with teenagers, a mentoring group, and we talked about manhood. For many of us, part of manhood is fatherhood, and I told them that manhood is a journey, not a destination. You are continuously and constantly moving towards the goal of being a better man and furthering in your manhood. It is a lifelong journey. I say fatherhood is the same way. Because, you know, I had my first drink with my daughter here on vacation. She had a little Stella Rosa. And you know, I remember having my first drink with my son. Not that I'm an advocate all that, but hey, because one of the messages I wanted to teach was control over any of these things, and this stuff is not so dangerous that you got to go sneak out and do it.
Right.
And we sat and we really talked. One of the things that happens is that people would ask, "Well, what do you guys do?" I said, "Sometimes I pop some popcorn and I turn on the TV, but after a while, it just be me and her talking." And so my advice would be is to communicate, talk, and have open dialogue with your children. See what they about, figure out what's up with them, and really listen and pay attention. You know?
Love it.
And be agile.
That's the one. That's the one. Hey, man. Well, thank you very much. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you for sharing. Appreciate you for those insights. Appreciate you for those perspectives. And hey, man, we'll have to do. We got so many other guys that wanted to get on. So because we know a couple of guys who see themselves, and who we got a couple of guys who just had all girls. You know what I mean? So we'll do a part 2 soon. But until then, thanks for tuning in. SBL out.